Hey everyone, I'm Gage Edwards with Waste360.com, and I recently got a chance to talk to another one of our 40 Under 40 award winners. Today, I got to talk to the highly ambitious, hardworking, super motivated award winner, Kikei Wong. Kikei was responsible for spearheading a ton of great zero waste efforts during her time at UCLA. While at UCLA, she launched the Thinking Outside the Landfill campaign, which helps students divert a ton of waste from landfills. She also set up a surplus shop at UCLA for students and teachers to donate items like school supplies and furniture that can be reused. Kikei is not only a 40 Under 40 award winner, she also received the Outstanding Higher Education Award in 2021 for her work at UCLA. Check out this interview where Kikei and I discuss all of her accomplishments, her time at UCLA and all of her initiatives there, and what she's doing now and what she plans on doing next to keep things sustainable in her life. Where did the idea spawn from for Think Outside the Landfill?
Yeah, so we really want to encourage a wholesome approach, holistic approach towards waste. A lot of people think that recycling is just enough, that now that we've added composting services to the campus, like that's about it. But we really wanted people to think outside of the box, and that's where Think Outside the Landfill came from. It's kind of a play on that saying of, okay, we got to think outside the box, but really we need to think outside of the landfill because we really want to prioritize ways that we are looking at waste in all the aspects in our lives and diverting waste away from landfills. And that could mean composting, that could mean recycling, but that could also mean so many other things. We really encourage clothing swaps and refill events, and we even have a guide for students in the kitchen because lo and behold, when you're a college student, you probably don't know what to do. You may be cooking for the first time. So kitchen waste is a huge part of our lives, and it contributes to so much organic matter. So we also incorporated that into our campaign. So thinking outside the landfill is really a way to incorporate all these different ideas that we can practice zero waste no matter where we are, what our financial situation is, and to really encourage not just that sustainability mind, like folks who are really already in that sustainability mindset. It's anybody, it's the general population, because all of us need to be participating in this movement. So after that, we realized, hey, think outside the landfill, the acronyms is total. So it's kind of like a full circle. Like we really want to think about the total circle here.
Right. Yeah, I wish when I went to college there was something like that, because I know I had no idea what I was doing, so I just bought all new stuff. And I was like, well, I spent way too much money, and like everything I got for graduation is spent just because I can live here. And then I'm handed all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this paper I'm getting. It's just being thrown away. It's being wasted. So I wish I would have had some kind of outreach program like that to be like, I could reuse some of this stuff, or I could get some cheaper things for my dorm.
Right? We're encouraged to consume. We're encouraged to buy things. It's really part of that consumeristic culture. But we really want folks to think like, hey, back a little, like think about, when you do graduate, what are you going to do with all this stuff, especially if you don't live nearby, if you live on the other side of the state, or even out of country. Whatever you buy is going to have to end up somewhere, right? And unfortunately, not everybody can take that home with them, so it gets dumped. But there's so many avenues, and I know that's going to segue into the surplus stop, so that'd be a good little talk about that too.
You read the script. Of course, my next question is, what was that process like getting your surplus stop hub set up?
As someone who works in facilities management on campus, even though I oversee the waste side of things, we see a lot of surplus on campus, and it breaks my heart when we have really durable goods like furniture or even like school and office supplies getting dumped because people just have nowhere to put them. So departments will put them out into the hallways, our custodians will take them away, and a custodian's like, look at all these things that, are barely used. Somebody else can definitely use it, and as we're walking these hallways, we recognize there's a need, right? So not everybody can afford to buy new. Not everybody can afford all these basic necessities that they may need to succeed in school or even at work. So this idea of surplus stop really came from addressing the community needs, but also fulfilling a need for reducing waste on campus. The biggest hurdle actually was finding space to have all these items stored. So that was the biggest challenge, is securing that area, finding a space where we can hold all these items that we found across campus and making it accessible to our students and our staff as well. So we started off with just a hole in the wall, almost literally. We found some space in a parking structure that was underutilized, and we asked, well, it's not doing anything now, so can we, stage a little pilot here? And that's what became the surplus stop. So we've been able to recover a lot of desks, a lot of chairs. Chairs are definitely something that people need because of, not only just ergonomic, but they just need a study space. Over time, it grew to accepting things that people were donating when they moved out. So we received pots and pans and laundry hampers, anything that you can think of, we got it. And that also included a lot of supplies, especially with the pandemic. People were donating to us hand sanitizer, the Clorox wipes, and we were storing that because, again, not everybody can afford that, but it's something that people need to succeed in the spaces that they're at, especially the school environment. We have so many people who depend on financial aid, who go to these basic needs resources, and we want to help fill that gap. And again, just kind of putting this whole thing full circle. Why throw something that's perfectly good away, right? One man's trash is another man's treasure. Like, I found so many good things, and I'm like, how could we be throwing these things away? And it's not just basic necessity. We've also received things like paintings and posters and just things that would brighten someone's daily lives and say, hey, there's value in this. And it's still going pretty strong. We're still looking for ways to open up this program. I say we, but I'm going to touch on this later. I'm actually no longer at UCLA, but I'm still very in touch with the students who are still running the program and trying to support them from where I am. But yeah, going back to that, Surplus Stop has been exploring ways to post our items online so that they don't have to physically come and look at the items. There's an online database like, hey, we're updating this as we receive things. Here's 3 ring binders, here's staplers, pens, lamps, whatever it is, you name it. And then utilizing social media to grow our presence, right? A lot of the issues with rolling out programs on a school campus is that it's a very big space. There's a lot of things going on, and people, it's hard to disseminate that information. So being able to grow our presence and to share that through our campaigns like Think Outside the Landfill, through Surplus Stop, and all these other things, that we exist and that we're a resource to help students succeed in their lives.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit with your answer, but I was thinking, has there been a moment where someone's thrown something away or donated to you where you're just like, how are you just getting rid of this? Like, this is an incredible couch or something. Like, I can't believe this is ending up here.
We've had departments give us standing desks, the ones that adjust.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
just like, how can you give those away? I mean, I would love to have one of these at home. And then the next question is, okay, how do I get that from your department to our little space here, and just kind of like Tetris everything in? And then the second challenge is, once it's in our surplus, we need to make sure people are able to take it from us. And not all students have a pickup, so we have to find ways on how we can deliver these items or make it easy for them to access. So it's still a growing program, but people are hearing more about it, and the more that we publicize this. So one of the most recent events that we did before I left UCLA was a yard sale, is what we called it. We took everything out from our little storage and we plopped it on into our major walkway space, and we just said, look, everything you see here is free. Take it home. Like, we don't want it. You like it, you can take it home. Roll that chair back with all these other little things on the seat and just walk it back up to your apartment. Like, we encourage it.
Yeah,
and that just,
and
then there's like, oh, let me tell my friends to come by, or like, oh my gosh, I didn't know y'all existed. Like, how do I find out more about you? And they follow us on social media, or they tell their friends, or they say, I'll come back later after class so I can just roll it straight back to my apartment.
Yeah, well, college kids love free stuff, so I think that's a really easy avenue. It's like, well, of course we can get rid of this stuff. College kids are going to figure out how to get it back to their door. Like, if I know anything, college kids are determined. So.
And at this time, we also publicize that there are other major basic needs resources on campus. So they're like saying, oh, we'll be back tomorrow. It's like, well, we won't be here tomorrow, but you can check out this other student organization who's always available, and they're located at XYZ. So that way, not only are we promoting our own sustainable programs, that we're promoting existing resources that students can find whatever they may need and tell all their friends and family about it.
That's awesome. It's so, I mean, just sounds like you're doing a lot of good for the student, or did a lot of good for the students at UCLA. Like, and I guess I had this question for you. Like, do you kind of feel like a champion for students and getting cheaper things, cheaper supplies? Like, you're just like, I'm going to help people get the least expensive stuff possible because I know it can be used.
I don't think of myself as a champion per se. I really
You
want
can
to
call
be
yourself
their ally and resource. I'm not one to really seek out attention. I just want to do what's right. And this is something that has been overlooked for a while. It really needs time and development to, put together a program like this. So it makes me feel good inside and validated just knowing that there is a need for this and that we are filling that need and we're being able to give back to our community, and just not, it's not all just about the students. We're also able to provide for staff because we do have a lot of professors who have just started saying, hey, I just got to UCLA and I have nothing. What do you have that I can take? And that way we can help launch their academic career at their new campus with cabinets or binders. We had I remember a professor, they took not only the table, but they took a lot of binders, clipboards, notepads, and they even took some pots because they just moved here. They have nothing at their apartment. So they're like, okay, like, can I take this laundry hamper? Can I take this pot set and these chairs? And I'm like, please, by all means, like, if you need it, that's why we're here.
That is awesome. And it's also, so it's not just helping students, it's helping kind of anyone through the UCLA. So I want to pivot to you put on an art gallery.
Yes.
So a little bit about that. So can you quickly kind of describe the art gallery, gallery, and then I know it was a learning experience. Was that something important you wanted to be for the attendees? Like, did you want them to really take something away from the art gallery? Was that kind of the goal going into it?
Yeah, let me give you a little background. So it is a sustainability and cultures art gallery. And when we thought about this, we really were thinking, how else can we communicate to the student population about the challenges and different cultures, that partake in this, and that's every culture. And I don't think that's a lens that many people think through. So when we say sustainability, they're probably thinking water, energy, trash, right? But using art as a method of communication and a way of expressing our feelings and our intentions is really powerful. I mean, art has been around for so long, and we do have a really strong art students department here. So not only just for the art department, but just artists in general, right? So even being able to provide them a platform to say, hey, how do you celebrate sustainability through your culture, or what does it mean to you? Really give them a way to just channel all of their expressions, all of their different skill sets and different mediums to really portray that to a broader audience. I think I mentioned earlier about just the sustainability echo chamber. We really want to get to people who are just not the ones that are already recycling, that are already taking 5-minute showers and those. We want, again, a broader audience, and art is a really good way to bring everybody together. We love art galleries in LA. And I think when you see your friends being showcased in an art gallery, you bring that group in, and then you say, oh my gosh, there's food and there's music and there's performances. My friends are going to be there. You bring everybody in, and we want them to learn again about different cultures, about how art and sustainability are so intricately tied together. So that's kind of the background of what happened. And we did pay the artists for their time and for the resources that they use to create these materials, because it's an equitable thing to do, right? You got to pay all these folks for their hard work, for all that thing, the wonderful work that they've done. So this art gallery was put on, and the opening night we had performers who maybe had like a written poem or a spoken poem that they wanted to perform. We had music, and then we actually had the artists who were showcased give a little background context about where the inspiration came from and what sustainability means to them. I remember one really powerful one was that to them it was resilience, right? Showing them that they had previously found some shame in like secondhand clothes because they thought their family was poor, but then they really tied that into their identity, saying, you know what, we were being sustainable all this time, right? It is a sustainable thing to do to reuse clothes as long as we can. And they took some of their old outfits from their past that they no longer fit and turned into a new article of items and just said, in my culture, this is what it means to really love something, to care for it, and to reuse as much as possible. And that is sustainability to me, right? And that's part of who I am. Um, so I thought that was really beautiful. And I really want that audience to see, like, okay, it's not just about, again, recycling. It's not just about, do I have an electric vehicle at home? It's really about tying what it means to you, how you've been brought up, and incorporating all that into who you are and how you want to proceed in the future. And I think we had, a good 100 people in that small room. Learning lesson is that for future galleries, I hope they book a bigger room because it was that popular.
Wow.
And I think people really stayed the whole time and heard the messages from the artist. And that way you're able to, again, get a message across that normally wouldn't have come across through your quote unquote traditional means.
And so getting that positive feedback and that overwhelming response and, kind of, I guess, selling out the room or the space because everyone's packed in there. What did that mean to you?
I was so proud to see that it was a success, because not only was it a project for my student zero waste ambassadors, it was a project to show that there is, again, a need for this on campus, to showcase more of these spaces and to integrate that. That success will then open doors for how we communicate to our student audiences, to even, again, not just the student audience, but our entire UCLA community, that look, we hear you, we see you, and that we need you in this movement, and that you're all part of this. It's not just us staff or just select few students. It's everybody kind of putting in what they can together to show that it really does take a village and a community to go towards sustainability, a more sustainable future.
That is awesome. It's so good to hear about like different kinds of sustainability or efforts to bring more sustainability to different communities. And so how do you feel like the sustainability has changed since implementing some of these programs or services on UCLA, on the campus as a whole?
We've grown so much since we started here. So I'm really proud to say that there is a presence now. They know who we are. They know who to, like, people know to come to us, again, for surplus stop or for clothing swaps. We're now a well-known resource that people can rely on. And I think that's the most important part. You don't want a faceless entity, some sort of distant office saying, you have to do this, you have to do that. People don't really like being told what to do. But I think the way that we can lead by example is much more powerful. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we're going to keep doing, is that showing them, through the Zero Waste Ambassadors, through the different programs, that you can choose to, take on sustainability however it fits for you. And no matter what you choose, we'll be there supporting you with our different resources, through our presence, and just like that community building aspect. And I think that's the different approach that we've been taking that hopefully sets us a little bit apart, is that we want to be your friend, your guide, and your mentor. We don't want to tell you what to do. We understand that navigating zero waste and sustainability can be very difficult, can be very almost elitist or out of reach, but there are other ways, right? I like to, when I teach to students or give lectures, I tell them, everybody started on a different path, and nobody's path is the same. I started in a low middle income family by just saving plastic bags because we just wanted to save whatever we can. And I know we're all like anti-plastic bags now, but to me that meant sustainability at the time. And that's how I, got to where I am, is you do the little things that make sense for you. And then as you grow, you bring the community with you and say, look, this is the idea that I have, let me learn from you, and you can learn from me, and we exchange our ideas, and we're much better off than where we were.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I do think that's awesome. So let's move on to the Outstanding Higher Education Award. So you won that.
Yes.
What did how exciting was that for you? Like, what did that mean for you? Did that kind of feel like a lot of the work is coming together in a rewarding way, or was the reward already given to you because you already had so much success with UCLA programs?
Personally, it was very validating for me. Sometimes when you work at such a large institution, it feels like you're just throwing mud against the wall and seeing what sticks. But I think winning that award meant to me that we were on the right track, and that being recognized as such is just so amazing. I mean, I'm just incredibly honored, not only by that award, but by this award too. I'm just like, how did I get here?
Congratulations.
Like, thank you. I'm just like, thinking for me personally, I'm like, I'm just trying to do the right thing, right? If that right thing is what is recognized by other folks as the right thing to do, then I hope that others can learn from us, and that again, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? So whatever resources we've created or ideas that we've already executed or implemented in the past, like we want to make it available. So I remember that at all the past conferences that I spoke at, I said, look, if this is something you want to do, here's all my existing resources, the flyers we've made, the presentations I've done, the step-by-step guide, because if you think this is something that can work for your campus or for your organization, by all means, take it. Why am I to gatekeep this? So that award just means to me that we're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. Keep doing what you're doing, and to keep moving forward, right? I don't want to, keep holding on to the fact that we won an award. Okay, just stop there, right? It's always going to be something new to do, and we're looking forward to the future.
That is awesome. Again, congratulations with that.
Thank you.
And congratulations on this. And for my last question, you said you've moved on from UCLA a little bit, or aren't with them anymore. What is next for Kikei Wong? What is next?
So now I am with Athens Services, which is one of the largest waste haulers in the LA County. I'm very excited to be working with them because we are focusing on the 40 cities that we provide services to. And part of the sustainability department is providing the guidance and the program development to get us closer to zero waste. So right now I'm really focused on organics. I'm sure you have heard of Senate Bill 1383 over here in California. We have a massive rollout for getting organic services to all of our customers, businesses, residential and multifamily. And I think it's amazing to bring all that experience from UCLA into where I am now, because I can now apply all these different programs, these experience that I've had, and then developing new programs that will impact not just the UCLA community, but again, for all of LA County and beyond, on how to best integrate all these different practices into everybody, not just students and faculty and staff there, but to all the residents, right? That's a very big population group here. It's a very big task, but that's what's next for me. I'm excited to be supporting the sustainability department here. And there's so much more, right? I'm also providing support to zero waste, schools and also other universities within our jurisdictions. So making a bigger impact, right? Moving upwards and out.
Well, awesome. That is awesome. Kikei, this is so insightful. There's so much experience and so many cool programs that you just kind of got out there and did. And I think that's very influential. I think that's very I can't even find the right words to describe, because it's just so it's impressive. I'm impressed by a lot of this. I get to talk to a lot of cool people. And I'm impressed with the work. Anything else you want to share with me, with people listening to this or reading about this?
I cannot wait to see where we're going the next few years. I feel like we have so many different programs and initiatives coming out. There's new technologies. I'm so excited to meet everybody else at Waste Expo and hear from them and their stories. The waste community has just been so supportive, and I want to continue that. I think we can all say that we're all very inspired by each other, and I think that inspiration is what keeps us going. So as you can tell, I'm very pro support of everybody, very community based, and I think that's just gonna help us get to where we need to go. So thank you so much for the interview, and if anybody who's watching this wants resources or has questions, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm happy to help out.
Excellent. Kikei, thank you again so much for the interview.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Hey, thanks for watching. You can check out more of our 40 under 40 content over at waste360.com. And be on the lookout for more interviews just like this as we get closer to our event, Waste Expo, in May. By the way, Waste Expo is happening in May 1st through May 4th in New Orleans. Be sure to attend this industry-leading event and connect with amazing people from all over the industry. Plus, I'll be there, and that's pretty cool. Don't miss it!